Hey guys, what's up? Today I have a really special treat for you. I have a match between Ldlc and a team that you probably have not heard of just yet. Team Tomorrow Big is a team from old Imperatum players. They have a few players that were playing for Beat Our Bakers as well. That might ring a bell. And they have some former Dota 2 players in the lineup too. And this team has actually been doing a lot of work, especially in the last, I'd say, 10 days. They've been winning one of the ESL Community Cups. They have constantly placed very high in all of the tournaments they participated in. And they are definitely here to stay. They are kind of the new team on the block and they are doing very, very well. But now they are going up against, so to say, the Spanish champion, Ldlc, the big team in Europe right now. They're incredibly strong. They lose a match every now and then, but still their win ratio is absolutely out of this world. So we're going to go into this match, and interestingly we have also Diablo being picked now by Team Tomorrow Big, a hero that you don't see that often as a tank. There are only very few teams who really still play him, and Team Tomorrow Big is one of them. And they chose him also as a direct counter to Nezebo, which was chosen by Ldlc as one of their damage dealers. So a pretty interesting match that we have there. We're going to go over more of those details in the game itself. I hope that you enjoyed the game. We're going to jump in right now, the match at the Go4Heroes Tournament between Ldlc and Team Tomorrow Big.
Alright everybody, welcome to our game here at the Go4Heroes Tournament between Ldlc and Team Tomorrow Big. Interesting lineup that we have for the both of them. We're going over that in just a few seconds, but let's introduce our two players here on Cursed Hollow in the best of one first. To the left we have the Spanish team with Black Scorp on Nezebo, we have Falcon on Sergeant Hammer, Tidaka is playing Stitches, Killachino on Tassadar, and Polator on Malfurion. To the right side of the map it's Breeze on Diablo, a hero that we don't see that often on the European server, but picked for a very specific reason here. Eternal on Vala, Shwimpy on Tyrande, Celium on Illidan, and Splendor on Uther. So we can expect a lot of action in this game right now, and if you look at the comps, one of the things that is pretty transparent is that the composition that we are seeing here for Team Tomorrow Big is actually like a pretty strong one. Normally you would expect Rhaegar picked over Uther here, and maybe a hero like Chen over Diablo, but the reasons why we're seeing these heroes are most likely that what Team Tomorrow Big was trying to do is pick Uther away from the Stitches comp so that you don't run into that very, very strong combo or synergy between a hook and the stun then later. And so they gave Uther the priority over Rhaegar, which is still a great hero to keep Illidan alive. If you're looking at a composition with Illidan, quite often of course you're having the rest of the comp shaped so that he is able to survive in those fights. The tri-lane at the top will demand a rotation from Team Tomorrow Big because, well, there's like a lot of pressure and Illidan alone won't be able to do anything about that. Diablo taken in this game, not really a hero that you see a whole lot on the European server. This team, Team Tomorrow Big, is actually one of the few that is playing the hero. SK has played Diablo at the beginning of the patch and then very quickly abandoned him. I think, as far as I know, on the North American server he's played a bit more often. Nice hook against Shwimpy, getting a few of the tower shots straight onto Tyrande. At the top lane, still that tri-lane that we're seeing here. And one of the things that Diablo can do, and probably will do, is go for Apocalypse over Lightning Breath in this case, so that they have a very good tool to take down Black Scorp's ult. But nice move against Nezebo! Oh my god! That was really well done. That three-man rotation from the mid to the top dropped Nezebo now. Very well done. The stun setup that we have from Splendor with a Hunter's Mark on Tyrande, and then that drop in First Blood against Nezebo. So very good job by them. Shwimpy now is currently in the mid lane, and the one thing that of course Diablo is going for him is that he is a very, very tanky hero, and is also the only one who still has kind of access to Resurgence, a talent that was taken out by Blizzard in one of the last patches, and everybody was very happy about that. Diablo kind of still has that, and he is, with Apocalypse, one of the best heroes to deal with the ultimate that we're seeing on Nezebo. So he's a direct counter to him. We don't see... Oh my god, like he curved that hook, didn't he? Tidaka getting that hook in. At the bot lane, Killachino versus Eternal. And while we haven't really talked too much about the talents yet, but we're going to do that in a second. What you would usually see over Diablo with an Illidan comp is something that can help you jump the backline, like Chen, or we could also see an ETC. ETC was banned out in the game, as was Zeratul, so that was not really an option. But Diablo, like Zeratul, is of course a hero that you don't really want to give to the Spanish team. This Blackscorp is one of the best Zeratul players in the world, or maybe even the best. But one of the heroes that we could have seen, as mentioned before, is instead of Diablo, Chen, or if he wasn't banned, ETC. But now Illidan will have to be a bit more careful when he jumps into the backline, since he is going to be alone back there and will need the help from especially Splendor here on, of course, his Uther. So talents, now that we're reaching level 6, we're having a sustained build on both of the tanks. First of all, Stitches with the Chew Your Food and also Amplified Healing, a talent that is also, or was taken by Diablo here. Diablo is going straight for the Soul Feast as well, which is of course going to give him a lot of health later on, and also regeneration, so that's going to be an important talent for him. No real surprises with the builds that we have so far. We have still on level 7 or on level 6 Gathering Power taken on a Zebo. The bot lane is currently the main priority for both of the teams, but we're still having heroes up at the top, where Breeze and Falcon are going up against each other. The Siege Giant camp is helping Falcon out a lot here, and Falcon is really trying to put Breeze in a bad spot, and he is starting to do that. That Siege Giant camp is putting a lot of pressure onto the top lane, and the Tribute at the bottom is still there. We're having double battle momentum taken now, once on Diablo and once on Vala on level 7 for Team Tomorrow Big. The attempt, oh, bad aim on the side of Tyrande. Kilachino not stunned out, but aborts that for a second here. Without the piercing talent, Polator would have soaked up the owl regardless, and LDLC, probably the best team that we're having in Europe right now, is taking Tribute number 1. With level 7, it gave us also Gitbin taken on level 7 for Nazebo. We're having first aid for Sergeant Hammer. It is in this case Toxic Gas instead of Tenderizer on Stitches. Normally Tenderizer is one of the main talents taken by Stitches players when they're going for the sustained build, but in this case it's more about the additional poison that we're seeing for him. One of the things that we could mention as well is that Tassadai is going on level 1 not for Conjurer's Pursuit, which we have taken by Malfurion, but instead going for Overload for the increased Psystorm range. A talent that we don't see often on Tassadai. Even if you see one of the Storm talents, it's mostly the infused, I don't even know what exactly the name is, infused something that gives you the additional mana per strike with the initial one. Great kill up here at the top with good stuns. Shrimpy and Breeze are doing very well, and that puts the second kill on the board for Team Tomorrow Big. And in case that you're not really familiar with the team, we're having Cilium, a former Dota 2 player, and of course a lot of the other players in the team have been playing for Imperitum before, and even for teams that beat our Bakers. Oh, there the attempt, and going straight against Blackscorp again. There was already the approach to some... Oh, Tidaka is also suddenly stunned out and needs to be careful. That Chew Your Food saving him for now. Splendor was doing his thing as well. And here comes the talent. We have Gargantuan taken already. Makes a lot of sense for Nazebo to go for that. We're going to talk about it in a second. First, we're going to watch how exactly Tomorrow Big is trying to go back in, because they are apparently trying to pull it off, but we have already Archon by Kilachino. He's smashed into the tower range, but Breeze needs to move away, and he does. No hero taken down just yet, and even with the Rain of Vengeance that we saw dropped by Vala, nothing dying. Shrimpy is getting very, very low. They need to somehow keep him alive. Tidaka again in a bit of a bad spot, but Cilium in the last second got healed there. So far, Ldlc, thanks to Malfurion, having a lot of momentum gained here, and Tassadar with the shield, of course, helping with that as well. Very nice counter to go Gargantuan instead of the Ravenous Spirit, since we are having Apocalypse taken from Diablo. So Apocalypse, the direct counter to Ravenous Spirit, and therefore Ldlc immediately reacting and saying, alright, we know exactly what's going on here. If we go for Ravenous Spirit in this game, then Diablo is going to stun us out every single time we're trying to use it. So instead, we're just going for Gargantuan. That is, of course, the inferior talent in a lot of cases, but it will still give us more value than trying to land a Ravenous Spirit that will always be interrupted by Apocalypse. So very smart choice by Ldlc, very good counter by them, forcing them into that. And makes a lot of sense if you think about the idea that is behind Diablo. That's one of the main reasons why Diablo was picked here. He was picked after Nazebo was taken, and therefore meant as a counter, which you can especially see when you look at the heroic ability, which is in this case, of course, not Lightning Breath. We had already one Starfall in the game. Metamorphosis has been chosen as well. There's a curse on the red team now, and they are starting to fall slightly behind in experience as the boss is pushing in the bot lane. They themselves were able to grab one boss up at the top, but of course, with the curse on the red team, we still have the blue towers shooting, and they will over time take down that boss here. The bot lane boss is now being attacked, and they're trying to going straight for that. Now also seeing Pudric Bile taken, kind of the standard talent on Stitches now that Gorge has, well, first of all, it doesn't have as much damage anymore, and another thing that kind of ninja nerfed Gorge as well is that Hook has now a cooldown of 16 seconds instead of the former 10. So that is, of course, a pretty big problem there, because now you cannot really run that Hook into Gorge combo as often anymore, so a bit of a ninja nerf to the talent as well, and that's why we are seeing that taken a lot. Pudric Bile, a talent that helps a lot to disengage. 13 talents now ready with the double Shrink Ray, one Relentless, and Sprint taken. Oh, there comes the ultimate! Oh, very, very nice Apocalypse there, and also Metamorphosis. They're trying to go for the Campolata, is extremely low. He's smashed from the left to the right. Black Scorp is already dropping, but he's escaping in the last second. And the first hero to die is Diablo, the Lord of Terror, coming back after a few seconds, of course. The hard camp was taken as well, in this case by the red team. At least they were able to get that off. But yeah, very nice fight here, and especially Black Scorp getting away on his Nazebo from Vala. That was a close encounter. Vault was still in cooldown, so there was no chance for Vala to just vault after him and maybe go for another hit. 13 talents now also on the board for Team Tomorrow Big. They're having a Frost Shot on Vala. We are looking at the Lunar Blaze talent on Tyrande. Giant Killer on Illidan. And Giant Killer on Illidan in this case gives you quite a few options, since there's not a lot of potential for the opponent to go for Imposing Presence, which is kind of a direct counter to that. Also on Illidan, the talent in general is pretty good, even with Imposing Presence on the board. So he can do a lot of additional damage with that, especially against a high hit point tank like Stitches. Of course, one of the things that he gives away is one of his passive talents, putting more on the evasion talent. Breeze, they have to move out here. That was a really nice attempt with Gargantua and all in the wall of zombies to do damage. So they're already on the run and moving back here. Falcon and Killer Chino on their way. It's 13 versus 13 talents. Cilium is low and he gets nearly rooted as well. Oh my god, just jumps over the wall of zombies. That's of course a problem when you use the wall against Illidan, that he can, with cooldown ready, always jump out here. But the heroes are very low. And LDLC, I mean, they are chasing them right now. 15 against 13, the talents, 2 kills against 1, but you can really tell how those rotations on the map are putting Team Tomorrow Big in a pretty bad spot. Diablo has still not taken his 13 talent, just as a side note here, so we still don't see that taken at all. He himself will have a lot of hit points by now. We're talking 4,600 hit points for Diablo. Just to give you a little bit of comparison to the tank that we're seeing for Tidaka, that's 4,700. So very much the same, even though there's a talent between them. So Diablo will gather up more souls. He just died a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago, so he doesn't have all of them gathered up just yet. One tribute about to be taken at the top, but the push against the bot lane is starting to threaten the keep, and Diablo went for Relentless now as his 13 talent. 60 talents are going to appear very soon as well, and yep, there we have the Owl just moving in. And well, with we should see the second Lunar Flare upgrade taken over here on 16 for Schwimpy, since, oh, there comes the attempt to stun somebody out. They get Falcon, oh my god, they really want him, and Falcon dies, gets stunned 3 times by Uther, and then also by the Rain of Vengeance. They're jumping in to drop Tidaka. Splendor is very low on his Uther, he's not getting away too fast, and especially the Pudric Bile is putting them in a bad spot. Tidaka with nearly a hit on the hook against Vala, great stun against Black Scorp, who just used Sprint to move in, doesn't get anything done with this, but it's still, even with the kill that we're seeing against LDLC, a massive lead in experience for the opponent's team. Great match so far by LDLC, doing a very, very nice job. Breeze by now roughly 200 HP more than Stitches, even though he is still a level behind. That 16 talent is of course putting a pretty big problem onto into the game for Team Tomorrow Big, since they are now without that extra talent and they need to get some experience before they really engage into a battle, which also means that the boss down here is going to be taken with ease. We already had the Executioner taken with a 16 talent for Sergeant Hammer. It's a specialized Toxins on the Zebo, with now Pulverize taken, interestingly enough, to just like stun heroes out for a second or two. Second Strike and Tenacious Roots. We also saw the Enduring Growth taken on level 7, just as a side note here. And no healing ward in this case on Malfurion, but instead we're having the Protective Shield. 1 healing ward on the other hand by Tacita. And of course Tyrande has the same. Oh, they just took the boss in the last second and move away. It's also the 16 talent now for them. With the first Blood for Blood already taken, Illidan could get a second one and should do so. That's exactly what he does. As already suggested, we have, or assumed, we have Shooting Star taken on level 16. Makes a lot of of sense since they didn't go for the Sentinel talent or the PS talent on level 1 for Tyrande. Imposing presence on Diablo is going to make it even harder for them to drop that hero. Maybe make it very, very difficult. Uther is going to take the same talent in just a second, and there it is. So imposing presence for 2 of them now being used. And, well, 16 versus nearly 17. Another tribute on the map. And this time Team Big Tomorrow or Team Tomorrow Big could go for that. And they are banned. They want to fight for the next one. Or are they just able to stun that out long enough so that they can actually fight? Doesn't look like it. Well, maybe. Oh, Kilachino just barely outside of the range. And with Kilachino not being hit by Uther here, they can just like move back right now and fight for tribute number 3. But it's still a pretty cool game that we have between the 2 of them, and so far I really loved those ideas that we had by the teams, using Diablo as a counter to Nazeebo switching his ultimate because he knew that Ravenous Spirit would not be successful in this game. So there's a lot of mind games going on between the 2 of them. The problem persists still for Team Tomorrow Big, that they cannot, with like Diablo, get the same value out of that tank that they could get with either Chen or ETC, who was, of course, in this case banned. Oh, the attempt to drop one of the heroes and they get no Fury and they don't get the hard cap, but they're going for Falcon as well, and with Illidan jumping in once more, they're able to get him though too. Now they're extremely low though. Oh my god! Like all of that damage against the team right now, and Uther the first one to die, but they're dropping 3 heroes as Tassadar dies now as well, and that Gargantuan is starting to do his thing, but they are dropped out here. So it's 3 heroes against 1, and Team Tomorrow Big is playing very well here. And once again, this is one of the main reasons why I chose this game, because I knew that this would be a close one, and I'm really happy that I was actually right on that. It would have been a bit embarrassing if that would have been a stomp, but it's not. It's a very close game between the 2 teams on absolute eye level, and Team Tomorrow Big definitely a name or a few players that you should remember, because these guys are definitely here to stay. Celium and his Illidan doing very well so far. Both of the teams still on level 16, giving you a bit of an idea about the damage that we have so far from both of them. Of course, one of the heroes that we are going to look out for is Nazeebo here. Nazeebo still with 37,000 damage, the main damage dealer in the team, even above the damage that we are seeing dished out by Sergeant Hammer. So, Gargantuan, new meta, Kappa Kappa. We're also having, with the 6 kills on the side of Team Tomorrow Big, now 34,000 damage on Vala. The second highest DPS in the team is still Tyrande, with Starfall and those Owls. You can do a lot there. Tribute still not taken though, and it's a 5 versus 5 once again. Up at the top, what are they going for? They're going for the wave, pushing that. Oh, and again they are cursed. Ah, well, they knew that that might happen. Oh, great move, but Metamorphosis used by Celium immediately, as well as his first aid. Knew that he had to use his ult. There was no chance for him to survive if he didn't go for that. But a great hook that we just saw from Tidaka. That was very, very well done. Destroying the wall so that Stitches has a better angle on a lot of those hooks and can hook over that. Level advantage, well, not happening, but we are seeing actually in this... Ooh, nice. We saw, I think, just now, wasn't it cleanse? It looks, no, cleanse not being used just yet. Looked for a second like he cleansed the hook, but nope, he didn't. Tidaka gets smashed in. Can they maybe drop him? Oh, they're certainly trying, aren't they? That Starfall is great. Oh, the Apocalypse. Apocalypse being used. 2 heroes down. The Keep, on the other hand, died as well. Kilachino is also gonna die here. Yep, so they kill 3 heroes, but the fact remains that they lost their Keep. And the bottom Keep is also attacked. So even with them winning every single fight and having 9 kills against 2, they are still the team that got cursed twice and that lost the first Keep here. And with the death timers at 30 seconds, there is just no way for Team Tomorrow Big to move in and take a Keep on their own. They might be able to start and pressure it, but they're just not there yet. They have an experience lead though. And with that experience lead, they might be able to get the level 20 first, and with that then start to take down the opponent. LDLC is certainly... Well, I don't really want to say in some trouble, because they are still the team that has a very tough, very good lane pushing in now with that Keep taken out in the mid lane. But it's still the team that needs to be super careful, because they are starting to lose out on experience, and that might snowball really fast. The next fight is going to be an important one and could decide the outcome of the game. And the first boss is already taken here. Polata and Idaka are just coming in too late. That hook is hitting though, but Breeze is not really the target that you want to hit in this case. He has 6,700 HP compared to the 5,400 that we have for Stitches. That is really one of the things that you get out of picking Diablo, that the guy is just like so incredibly tanky. And of course, if he dies and loses a few of his souls, then he's going to be back in a few seconds again. They have one hero pushing the bot lane, and they're going, or one boss, and they're going up for the top to do the same thing once again, so that they have two bosses jumping in. The 20s are going to be interesting. Are we going to see Nexus Blades on Illidan? I kind of don't think so. It's a talent that is very aggressive, and oftentimes Illidan players go for either Bolt of the Storm or Demonic Form over it. I love to see it though. It just shows that Illidan players have options right now. Diablo goes for Bolt of the Storm, as does Vala, and we have Nexus Blades. I love it. It's a great talent to take. It's extra damage on Illidan and also the slow on the target. It's just a very aggressive talent to take, and oftentimes Illidan players feel more comfortable by just using Bolt of the Storm or Demonic Form. So it's great to see now the Nexus Blades taken. Every now and then they come into play, and if you're starting to snowball in one of those fights, you are very likely to take down the entire team of your opponent with them. So double Bolt of the Storm on Vala and also on Diablo. We're having the Divine Hurricane. An entire level lead for them now, and the boss is starting to push that in. There's a tribute on the map. They could go for it. And are they? Oh, Diablo blinks away. It somehow feels wrong to have a blink on Diablo. I don't know what you think about that, but for me, in my head, like getting Vala a Bolt of the Storm makes sense. Even on ETC, it always feels a bit weird, but the Lord of Terror just blinking through the map, I'm not quite sure what Blizzard was thinking, but that is not really agreeing with my sense of Diablo 3 or Diablo lore. So right now Breeze is starting to make his way down to the bot lane. 7,000 HP, and look at that hit point regeneration that we see down there at the bottom left. Oh my god, that's racing fast. So yeah, great move so far. Nearly level 21 for them, but of course the 20 talent for LDLC will give them another talent too. And that's where a single fight can really win or lose you the game. Very close match so far. I'm really happy that we were watching this. This is a great one. We're currently seeing also 46,000 still on Nazeebo, the big damage dealer for the blue team. LDLC, the Spaniards, they need to be really careful with this, because they could lose this game for sure, even though they have the first keep killed. If they lose another team fight like they did the last one, then sayonara keep and maybe even core. Having Breeze moving down to the bot, both of them are, or like all of them, are currently trying to look for an any kind of possible approach to take a hero down. Tidaka is already sitting there. He on level 16 didn't take Fishing Hook, which we talked about earlier. Here comes the Owl, hitting home, hitting Polato actually. Bot lane push, and there's another tribute. There's another tribute that they can take, and they are all starting to converge towards it, but that allows LDLC to get the level 20, and then they will be willing to fight again. So far they've been playing it passive for very good reason. You don't want to engage into a battle where that extra talent is missing for you. And there it goes. Nexus Frenzy, Bolt of the Storm on Nazeebo. We're having Twilight Arcan and Storm Shield taken, and Stitches should go for the Hardened Shield, and that's exactly what he gets. Hardened Shield it is, but it's 2 tributes against 1, so the next one would put the first curse against Team LDLC. And well, so far, Team Tomorrow Big has played a great game, 9 kills against 2, but still they haven't won this just yet. And they are the ones who get pressure in the mid lane. LDLC, if they can maybe use their experience to rotate through the map and take down another keep while the opponent is occupied at the top, that would of course be great for them. But with all the lanes pushed against them, they're of course spotted very, very early there. So there we go. Black Scorp starting to walk towards the bot lane, and they should TP back, and so they do. Just making sure that that keep survives, because let's be honest, that keep is not really looking all too healthy. And apparently Tidaka and his team, they want to go for it. They want to take it down right now. So let's see if they can. This fight can determine a lot. If Team Tomorrow Big loses this fight, they might lose the game. But a bit surprising that we have LDLC with this much pressure. They are trying to rely on a hook, of course, and of course on Falcon with the extra range there. And this, yeah, there comes the first slam. And is there an engagement? Not just yet. And LDLC is thinking twice about really engaging into those heroes. It's always tricky to do that. Another Owl hitting Tidaka. It's the constant presence and pressure against the bot lane, and the tribute that is up at the top. You can't really go for it just yet. They're trying to take down the keep with the Sergeant Hammer and with the Storm, and they're doing a really good job at that. At some point, Team Tomorrow Big will have to decide if they want to engage into this or if they just allow it to happen, because it is going to die. Even the hook against it for extra damage, and they jump Falcon! They're going for Falcon! And Falcon goes down down. Illidan jumping in. Celium is already there. And Blackscorp is dead before he can blink or do anything else. He's stunned out. And now suddenly it's a complete bloodbath with Illidan going for the Nexo Blades. Full ham. Polato is down. Killer Chino dying as well. And T-Darka, he might not make it either. Illidan is on horse, but T-Darka is already riding his pick here, which is just wrong on so many levels. But Celium is starting to chase him down, or at least attempting to do so. And as you can see right now, they are going straight for the boss. These bosses, 22 minutes in, are extremely strong, and that should finally give them an opportunity to maybe take one of the keeps down. But T-Darka is pressuring the mid lane. He wants to buy some time for the rest of his team, and that's what he's doing. He might die here, and he knows that too, but at least he buys time for the rest of them so that they won't lose this game immediately. Breeze is already jumping in. At first stun, they're trying to push him back. T-Darka is of course going to try and escape here. But buying time was all that he really wanted to do there. With Gorge, he's moving back, but Breeze jumps him again. But I don't think he's going to be fast enough. Nope, he won't be. The problem is that Splendor is there too, and he unhorses him already. Sprints in, stuns him out once, but of course with Relentless it doesn't work for too long. Oh, even using his ult, they really want him. Oh my god. Like, yes, T-Darka is gonna die, but the rest of the team is alive again and already trying to deal with the boss. We're having a hard camp now taken by Eternal and Celium. Up at the top lane, there's also another boss being taken, and they go for the third tribute, so they will put a curse onto the opponent's team. And this is getting really, really strong right now. Splendor is there. They're helping out with the boss. They're going straight for that. And at the bot lane, we're having Killer Chino, Falcon, Polato, and Blackscorp defending, doing what they can. They still save that keep over here, but of course the second golem, that is going to be the big problem. On the other hand, just saying it again, we saw another big fight won by Team Tomorrow Big. And what did they really achieve? Let's think about this for a second. They did not kill a keep, they didn't even kill a fort. They put pressure on the lanes right now, and they took one boss that was already defended against, and we're having a second boss now pushing up the top lane. But at the end of the day, what did they really do? Nothing. They really need to start dropping keeps, because they are still the team that is pressured by the mid lane push, and that is a problem. They're going to take that fort over here, but what is that fort going to do to them? I mean, the fort is not going to help them. They need to take keeps, and they're of course putting the pressure into the mid lane now. They have another 8 seconds on the curse. This needs to be the time where they start to do serious damage. That boss up here has a very good chance at dropping the keep. If they can just move down to the bot lane and put a bit of pressure on there, then we will see a reaction from LDLC, and they have to make sure that they are not abandoning both lanes. They will lose a keep, and that's exactly the time where Team Tomorrow Big needs to make their move. They're blinking away with Breeze again. The bot at the boss at the top lane is starting to do his thing. This keep will fall. This keep is going to fall. The bot lane, on the other hand, that's another matter. Can they take this one as well? Diablo by now has nearly 8,000 hit points. Compare that to the tank that we're seeing for the opponent's team with 6,200. That's 1,200 difference already. And that is pretty crazy. But they are moving back again. They have nearly 24. It's the stat advantage, of course, that is also weighing down on LDLC. And the boss is starting to make his way over to the core, and he will do damage to the core. A boss this strong is gonna do damage to the core, but they're moving back right now. They're not trying to push the advantage and go for the keep. So at this point, we're having 2 keeps for each temp. And with the 5-man rotation, the boss actually died before he even scratched the shields too much, but they had to move back to achieve that. 8,000 hit points now on Diablo. 8,000 hit points. He is tanky as fuck. I mean, that guy is... dropping him is not going to be easy. At this point, you're probably better off ignoring him in the fight. Unless you have really something like Giant Killer, and when we look over there, the only hero with Giant Killer is actually Sergeant Hammer. So that helps to a certain extent, but still. I mean, the talents that we're seeing here give a lot of abilities, but we have still a 26-minute game, so even if so far, in all of the team fights, Team Tomorrow Big was able to win. If they get wiped once, the only thing that's going to happen is LDLC moving through the mid and finishing core. But at this point, we are in a situation where that is also applying, of course, to Team Tomorrow Big. If they win another fight, this time they don't have to bother with keeps or forts or anything else. They can just go straight to the top lane, push past it, go for the core, and finish the game. Damage dished out in the game so far. Very, very important to see that we have once again the Nazebo player with 52,000 hero damage. 41,000 on Sergeant Hammer. The heal, extremely strong. Tyrande heal is currently at 43,000, and that's only with the healing ward, and, well, not only with the healing ward, but healing ward is a big part of it. She has, of course, still her healing spell, but it's one thing to consider here too. Bosses are going to be up in another 50 seconds, and this is one of those things where it's going to become extremely important that you don't run into a trap. 24 versus 22. That's the levels that we're having here. Diablo still with all his additional hit points. 5-man up at the top for both of them, and they're starting to rotate the maps. Once again, in the mid lane, there's not a lot of pressure on that. Diablo could go for an attempt to hook. They're starting to move down. The boss is not there just yet, but they're going for the hard camp first, and that will put pressure onto the mid lane again. And you cannot really afford to lose anything here. The Owl spots what's going on, but doesn't unhorse anybody. So the hard camp is going to be taken and can't be defended anymore. Question is, can you take boss as well? That's the second tribute, and they're going for it. Tribute number 2. This is getting very close, guys. A very, very close game between Ldlc and Team Tomorrow Big. A great game, actually, what we're seeing at this point. And there's the boss. Boss is already there. Owl is going up to the top, hitting already. They take another wave, getting closer to level 25. Levels at this point don't matter all that much anymore. It gives you a stat advantage, but it's not talent lead any longer. The hook attempt could be there. We're having second tribute taken, and bosses 28 minutes into the game are so incredibly strong that you can finish with one boss, maybe even the match. But they're going straight for the battle here. Nobody really wants to engage against the boss and then risk being surprised in the last second, lose heroes, and have the boss moving against them. So I would be very surprised if we are seeing one of the teams really going for it right now and activating it, because that's a dangerous move. That's a very, very dangerous move. That's a move that can cost you the game. Greed at this point in the game is being punished, and it's being punished hard. Both of the teams just making sure that nobody activates the boss. There's the mines already. We're having in the mid lane now the team going for it, and they could go and take boss at this point. Boss at the top lane. At the bottom lane, we're having it already attacked. They're seeing it. It's scouted and they move in, and that's the third tribute. That would be curse. That would be the curse. They're not going for it yet. There's the abandonment. Yep, they're moving back right now. Oh, Splendor! Apocalypse being used. Splendor moves in for the stun and he gets it. Killer Chino is low. Killer Chino is dead. T-Darker is about to die. Uses Chew Your Food to keep himself alive and gets a shield in the last second. The blink by Eternal saves Vala. But we're having the hook against Splendor, the Gargantuan doing his thing right now. And once again, the jump in by Celium. Blackscorp is hitting sprint and trying to escape. But those Nexus Blades, they are, of course, brutal. 3 heroes down. Vala died as well. But maybe Celium can get T-Darker too. He should be able to jump in. But does he? No, he doesn't. Smart choice considering how close that keep is. And we have Blackscorp still there as well. 2 heroes against 4. And this boss is the weapon that they want to use to take down Ldlc. They need to try and go for tribute as well with this. That would be, of course, the ultimate combination. But we're having 2 heroes running straight into the mid lane right now and trying to finish the game. T-Darker and Blackscorp are starting to move in. They're putting pressure on that core. They're trying to. Boss is taken. They need to TP back, and they need to TP back fast. They're trying to go for it. Another keep is down. Keep at the bot lane is already down in this case. T-Darker, they're still there. Here's the TP attempt. Oh, Blackscorp! 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 Oh my god, he's too late, and down he goes. Blackscorp eliminated. The attempt that's done by Splendor, but he wasn't in range, and they really need to start and do something here. I cannot believe that they weren't like trying to go for the kill, but this boss is at least gonna take down the keep at the bot lane now. But 2 of the keeps are gone. T-Darker at the top against Celium with his Nexus Blades. He has very little chance there. Illidan is just such a monster, and down Stitches goes. 60 and 40 seconds, that's what we're seeing here. We're having the boss now taken, and this boss should help them to really finish the game. I mean, the boss that is already walking in down there will at least do a certain amount of damage against the shields, and with the second one and Stitch is still dead, they should be able to do a lot of damage and finish that game out. They really need to stop playing too passive. Passive is always nice, playing it safe and sound is good, but you need to start doing some damage here. And they're moving in with 3 heroes, 2 TP'd back, manning up, getting the hit points back in the business. We're having level 25 right now. Stitches at 8,300 hit points. Diablo, of course, that is. They're going for the Siege Giant cam as well. They are waiting for the boss. This is their chance to end the game, to take the best team in Europe down, and they're trying to do it. Moving in with 5 heroes against 4. The boss is on the way. Only 15 seconds on Stitches. 23 versus 25 the levels. 19 kills against 3. And here comes Team Big Tomorrow. Falcon again. The stun against Sergeant Hammer, and he is down. Apocalypse not hitting anything, but zoning them out. The boss is dropping that keep one after another. Stitches is back, but they're still fighting a 4 versus 3. Killer Chino is dead, and Shrimpy might die as well, but it doesn't matter. The core goes down, and Team Big Tomorrow, or Team Tomorrow Big, takes the game here at the Go4Heroes Tournament against LDLC.
Team Tomorrow Big takes the game against LDLC and they advance in the Go4Heroes Tournament. A very, very nice performance that we saw of Uncursed Hollow by the new team, and this is of course like pretty great for them. Not only do they get a lot of exposure out of this, but also the satisfaction of beating one of the best teams in Europe. Their strategy worked perfectly, and you could really see how they controlled the flow of the game really well. They played at times maybe a bit more passive than you would expect from a team in their position, but they did that very well and just made sure that they controlled the mercenaries and the objectives on the map constantly, and never really gave LDLC an angle to come back into the game. So a really great match that they played here, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to hear a lot more of this team in the near future, and I'm also pretty sure that they are going to be picked up by an organization if they keep playing on that level. So guys, if you enjoyed the game, make sure that you like the video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and of course, as usual, if you have any questions, just write them down in the comment section. And that's it for today. Have a great day, guys, and I'm going to see you next time here on Khaldor TV for more Heroes of the Storm.